Hi, thanks for being here. I've wanted to do this for so long, and now that I'm finally sitting here, I'm kind of like, I'm scared, okay? I'm a bit terrified, but here it goes. Would you trade your permanent residence, your job security, your life savings for this? That's what I decided to do with my life at 19. And I kind of want to delve into why and how. I'm 24 now, and I have lived and volunteered in beautiful places such as Thailand, Turkey, Spain, Portugal, Norway, where I'm from. I have scuba dived, I have built my own business, I have volunteered, and I have made art like all over the world. Yeah, just generally enjoying a type of freedom that I really used to long for. So how did I get started? At first, I was simply restless, and I was working a lot of different jobs in hospitality, but that allowed me to move to a lot of really cool places like Lisbon, Budapest, and Lofoten. Now, however, I simply take my job with me because I am now a freelance graphic designer, illustrator, and I also do content production. I don't have a degree for any of these things, and I'm a firm believer that you don't need one either. These are some of the topics that I'll make future videos about, so stick around if you want to see more of that. So why would I choose a life of no stable employment, no stable living situation, not seeing my friends and my family at home? Well, there are two parts to this answer. The first is that I always valued having a lot of freedom in my life. I was just never very good at being told what to do. I never liked having somebody else like dictate my time for me. I don't like that idea at all. And I think growing up in Norway, at least I was lucky enough to actually use that freedom. I think the nomadism part of my adult life so far, in that I've been moving around so many places, has been really natural to me. I get naturally restless just when I stay in a place for too long. And honestly, this used to make me feel like there was something a bit wrong with me. Like, why couldn't I just enjoy life or make connections in one place or just be content with where I was at? But then, since I started traveling more, I also met a lot of other people that feel the same way, that feel this sort of like restlessness when they just stay in one place for too long. So I've come to realize that a lot of people feel this way. I think it's a kind of natural thing for us to do. I think humans are inherently more nomadic than we live right now. So yeah, it's just following like a natural instinct, I think there. Like some of my reasons for living freely and traveling and living different places is that I was craving that kind of autonomy. I was craving that kind of that agency really over my own life. But there is a fear there too. There is a fear of missing out. There is the question of what would life be like in that place, or what kind of person would I be like if I traveled here or if I did this. So there's always this like curiosity and this longing for freedom. The second is that I always felt like this inner urge to do something kind of unconventional with my life, like this inner pressure even. And I think there are several reasons for this besides just like a delusional grandiosity. But there's also the fact that I dropped out of high school when I was 18. I was bummed out about this, I was. And you see, in Norway, where I'm from, in Scandinavia, because university is free, having a bachelor is the bare minimum. Like if you want to do any sort of knowledge-based work, you have to have a master's degree or like a doctorate to stand out, okay? So for me, not even having a finished high school diploma, there was just like no way I was gonna fit into society's standards and expectations or like have any sort of like status or career unless I kind of paved my own way. I was forced to do my own thing, which is good. Like I'm really grateful for that and that things turned out that way for me. Yeah. It felt like the normal recipe for life, the normal expectations. It was already screwed up for me. So I might as well go do what I wanted to do, which was to travel and to learn how to do graphic design really well and how to be an artist and learn how to draw and do all of that kind of creative stuff. Because if I didn't, then what would I have? And so I focused on developing my art, my illustration, my graphic design skills, and this is what became my job and my career subsequently. And I think now I'm kind of at this point where I view my wins and failures, building my freelance career, having lived in different places, meeting different people, like working in so many different things, like when I was working hospitality and when I was volunteering. Like all of that until now has kind of been my education instead of uni and my way of learning about myself and learning about the world at large. Does that mean I now want to go for like a PhD? Maybe? Ultimately though, it's pretty simple. Freedom is just too good of a lifestyle to pass up. Lately though, I've been faced with a new question. Now that I can take my work with me anywhere I go, I am kind of living my childhood dream of being able to draw and, well, illustrate for money. And that question is this. If you had all the time in the world, if you could be wherever you wanted to be, do whatever you wanted to do, like what would you actually really do? Because I know that for me, even if I have time and the means to do a lot of very cool stuff, I don't always do them. And I want to get better at doing them. So I think that's part of the motivation behind this channel and kind of finally doing some of what I've said that I was gonna do for so long. And now I'm doing it. So yeah, what would you do? And I think that these are the types of questions that ultimately inspire us and should lead us to the life path where we feel the most creative and the most fulfilled and the most inspired. Yeah, please let me know in the comments. What would you do if you could do anything? That is my question from me to you for this very first video on my channel. And thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. I hope I'll see you next time, and take care.